Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are, in whichever realms of existence you are, whatever mind state you're in, whatever conditions you're in. As always, you're welcome to my channel. Welcome to the ocean of the vow. I am, of course, your host, Shanku Gankai. Just a quick video I wanted to make. Now that I've uploaded, there's a couple of videos I've uploaded in my Shoe Unlimited series. That is there's something I discussed in two of them that I struggled with actually uploading those two because I was like, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure. You'll see what I'm saying in a minute. I wasn't sure if I should upload them. I uploaded them, and then I made them private for a while to have a think about it. And then I decided, okay, I'm just gonna upload them as is. I thought about editing the part out that I'm going to be talking about in each video. In fact, I did that. I made copies where I did that. I was like, oh no, I should, So anyway, in the end, I decided to upload them and make them public and promote them. But kind of realize now, after having done that I really don't see things the way I portrayed them or depicted them in this one thing I'm about to explain. I don't view it the way that I discussed it in there. And I made that video several months ago. These two videos. So it was back in like the late spring, I think. Possibly, I can't remember now, but it was a while ago this year. And, a lot of my views and things have even changed since then. My experience of on the path of Jodo Shinju has really changed. So let me get to the point here. What I was talking about was there's a practice called, I don't even know if you should even call it a practice. Well, it's called resting in the Nembutsu, that a particular sect of Shin Buddhism does, of Jodo Shinju does, and they, it's a kind of it's not even, I wouldn't say, they don't really even characterize it as a practice. They just call it resting in the Nembutsu, and that you basically let your thoughts, feelings, experiences, sensations come and go, and just refocus on Amida, refocus on Nembutsu. Change the focus to Amida, change the focus to Nembutsu. And in those two videos, I'll put a link to them in the description of this video. The videos I'm referring to, I characterize this as somehow not in keeping with Jodo Shinshu teaching, or not in keeping, that's not really how I put it. It was like kind of a self-power creeping in, or a combination of self-power and other power, or something along that line. or somehow a divergence. And I've really come to see, this is another way I don't limit things in the teaching. I've come to see there are many responses. There are probably limitless, countless, immeasurable responses that one can have to the call of Amida. I talk about in my own life that, and in my understanding of the Jodo Shinshu teachings, that deep reflection, deep Dharma dialogue, deep listening, saying the name of, saying the Nembutsu, all of these things are responses. You're responding to the call. It's a response, and it's empowered. It's all empowered by Amida. It's all empowered, enabled by Amida. One's gratitude is a response to Amida. One's aspiration to be born is a response to Amida, although it's actually our aspiration is Amida's response. So that's probably not the best. Our aspiration to be born in Pure Land is actually Amida's aspiration for us to be born in Pure Land. So, and the sincere mind of entrusting is actually the mind of Amida Buddha. But what I'm trying to say is I think there are many different responses that are not a self-powered thing. There are many responses to the call of Amida, the power of Amida, the light of Amida, the working of Amida. There are many responses to that, and I don't limit that. I see this resting in Nembutsu as a response to the light, the working, the vow power of Amida. And I think there's many others. There's many others. Many ways that people and beings respond to the call of Amida, to the light of Amida, to encountering Amida's power, to the working of Amida. So I'm not going to limit that. And so that's how I see the resting in them, resting in Nembutsu. I don't see it as somehow a divergence. I don't see it as somehow some kind of combination of self-power creeping in, or a combination of, other power and self-power. I don't see it that way. I see it as a response to Amida, to Amida's call, to Amida's light, to Amida's working. As I see many other things in my own life that I haven't even discussed in videos, but that's just a quick video. I was, really struggled with whether I should upload those videos or not. And so I'm going to leave them up, but I'm making this caveat that, and I will put in the, eventually put a disclaimer in the descriptions of those videos explaining this very thing. And leave it at that, because there's no limit. There's no limit to the responses to the light, to the call, to the working of Amida Buddha. There's no limit. There's no limit. Right? So, like I said, quick video just to say that. And also, actually, what I want to also say is some other things along these lines. For instance, I've mentioned in these two videos I was talking about, and in previous videos in different framings and discussions, talked about or in some way criticized or um, um, implied that what I'm about to talk about also is was somehow um, divergent or from true teaching, or wasn't authentic teaching. I implied was the implications in discussions I've had on my channel, and that what I'm referring to is the things like the eight elements of faith, the 8 precepts of faith, the 12 moral precepts, that a particular sect of Jodo Shinshu includes in their expression of the teaching, or in their you know specifics of their how do I want to put it, of the way they convey the teaching. It's probably the best way, and that's what I want to say about them. Whereas, previously I may have somehow pointed to these things and implied they weren't, this wasn't the way to present authentic teaching, this or that, or somehow they weren't, it wasn't, it wasn't authentic Jodo Shinshu or something like that. I just want to absolutely say that a lot of my views along these lines have changed, and I now see those things as reflections of the faith, expressions or conveyances of the teachings, to put them in a easy to access form for people to be able to easily approach and understand. They're not somehow a different concept from Jodo Shinshu or anything like that. I don't see it that way. I just want to outright, wholeheartedly say that I see them as it's just the way that this particular sect of Jodo Shinshu explains the teaching, certain aspects of the teaching. And as far as the moral precepts go, they themselves say that it's not, you're not going to be able to follow these precepts, these moral precepts. The idea of those 12 precepts is for you to see them and realize what you cannot do. You just, because of it kind of it's a reflection of the teachings about our bamboo nature, our bamboo condition, of the depth of the evil of our karmic causes and conditions, and so that it kind of reflects that back to you, is the idea. So anyway, I just want to wholeheartedly say and categorically say, I see these things not as somehow divergences or somehow not authentic Jodo Shinshu. They're just a different way, a very specific way of expressing certain aspects of the teachings and reflecting them and expressing them and conveying them. I've just come to see a lot of things. I had to go through the process I've gone through to see these things the way I do. I've had to go through a kind of process and a cycle of things on my journey, on my my Jodo Shinshu Dharma path, to kind of come around and see certain things. And I just want to say that Cat's Grig. And another thing, like where I'll say, you know, I emphasize that, um, encountering the light of Amida and the working of the Amida, the transformative power of Amida's working of Amida's vow, the transformative nature, aspect of Amida's light, Amida's merit transference, for going, forth and return, Amida's good from the past, all of that, transformative. I emphasize the very special. I said something very special. Something, the very special, amazing, transcendent, aspect of that experience in Jodo Shinshu, and experiencing those things and encountering those things, and the power, the transformative power um, in our lives of that, of Amida Buddha, um, of Amida Buddha's vow, and all of that I just said. I emphasize, it is something special. That's something very special, kind of in response to, uh, how they say in this same other sect of Jodo Shinju, oh, it's nothing special. But I understand why they say that. They're not saying, in fact, I've actually seen videos and seen writings where they say, it's not, they're not saying it's not special at all. It's just, they acknowledge the power and all the things I was saying in their teaching. It's just they're emphasizing the temporary nature of a bambu's experience, of different, and the illusory experience of a bambu's experience in samsaric existence, of different, states and moods. And they're just trying to emphasize, you don't want to get caught up in, worrying about special feelings, or special experiences, or anything like that. We don't need to have that in Jodo Shinshu. And they're just emphasizing that we're very much bamboo. We're very much, as long, until we, even if a person, even in a bamboo, or a person in whom Shinjin has arisen and settled, and they become none other than their bamboo self, they, and they're, saved by Amida, embraced by Amida, never to be abandoned, state of non-retrogression, born in the Pure Land, all of that, birth is assured. All of that is, the whole thing is, you're still a bamboo. A big aspect of Shinjin settling at one thought moment is you become none other than your none other than your true bamboo self. So that's a big thing to remember, and that's, I think, when they say, oh, it's nothing special in this particular sect of Jodo Shinshu, they're just trying to emphasize that we're bamboo, we're still bamboo, we're going to be bamboo until we die and are born, in that sense, in the Pure Land, and fully become, realize Buddhahood at that point, immediately. And then it will be an actual, true, and real experience. Whereas here, it's not going to be. We have in Shinjin, we're given the mind of the Buddha, we're given his merit transference, we're given all of that, non-retrogression, etc. But we're still bamboo until the day we die. So that's what they're trying to, when they say nothing special, they're not saying it's not special. It's not an amazing thing. It's not about, they're just emphasizing our bamboo-ness by saying that. So anyway, that's something else I wanted to say. I've been wanting to say all of this actually. I've been struggling with this for a long time, actually, over this past few years, and wanting to at some point make a statement along this line, just to, clear the air, clear the decks, and um, and I just, I've got no axes to grind. I've got no dog in a fight. I've got no, um, I've got no bone to pick. I've got no, agenda about anything or anyone. I just, so I just wanted to clear the slate on all of that, and make that known. So thank you for listening. And don't want to limit. I don't want to limit anybody else's experience. I don't want to limit anybody else's avenue to get to the teaching. So that's why I'm saying this. There's no limit. All right. Thanks very much for listening. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Butsu. Naman. 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 Yeah, there's just one more thing I wanted to add to this episode, this video, and that is overall, in the last few years, I've gone through a lot of changes in my, in terms of my understanding of the teachings, and really adjusting to that and getting to grips with that, and struggling with that in various ways. So, let me just say this, that the whole, in the unfolding of the fivefold, the fivefold conditions of the fivefold teaching, the fivefold elements of the fivefold teaching, part of what's happening there is, with the good teacher of the Dharma, and with a supportive Sangha, and with all of that, and Amita's good from the past, and Amita's working, and everything happening in the course of one's Jodo Shinshu path, one's their individual karma does play a role in all of that, and karmic ties play a role. There's individual karmic causes and conditions ripening, and there's also collective karmic causes and conditions ripening, and then there's specific karmic ties and karmic relationships that you have with people, ripening in various ways, all of that in various ways. And so, this obviously was the case with the past two sanghas that I've been involved with in terms of Shin Buddhism, or Jodo Shinshu. And I think those changes were necessary, just with, in the case of my own individual path. There were those schools, both of those, not schools, I shouldn't call them schools, both of these past sanghas that I've been involved with, I have a huge debt of gratitude toward. I'm going to make a whole nother video on this, but I have a huge debt of gratitude to them, and that's I'm gonna dedicate a whole video to that, as I say, in the future. But for right now, I just want to say, and I've learned so much from both of those past sanghas. Huge amount of understanding of the Dharma, of Buddhist overall Buddhist teaching, Buddhist cosmology. Huge amounts that I have come to understand about Buddhist teaching, and there are things in these past two sanghas that I was involved with that, because they were so direct and so sort of simplified, it was hugely helpful for a beginning for me. I'm not sure, that how much, if I had gone a different route into Jodo Shinshu, how that would have wound up. I'm not sure how helpful if I went into the more, BCA, Hongwanji route initially. It would have been a totally different experience, and I think the process would have even taken longer. And that's saying something in my case. Really getting around to really seeing the authentic teaching, and really understanding it, and internalizing it, and really making it a part of my life. I think that would have taken a lot longer, if I had gone a different route other than these past two sanghas I've been a part of, because they are so direct, they are so, it's very condensed, very, really basic, foundational, direct kind of teaching. And I think that was definitely a good starting place for me. Now, given my own, and this is again coming back to the causes and conditions, my own unique personal karmic causes and conditions, and karmic ties and karmic relationships, etc., and limitations and capacities, etc., of this provisional rebirth lifetime situation. I obviously needed to go a different route from them. Obviously, when I left the first Sangha to go to the other, and I needed to make that change then, and then I needed to make the change from the second Sangha I was a part of to what I'm doing now. And this is again coming back to in the unfolding of the fivefold teaching, in the unfolding of the fivefold conditions and elements. This is what I needed to do, given my own karmic situation, let's say. Now, again, I deeply, strongly regret how I left my previous sangha that I was involved with, and I've made amends for that. To the main teacher of that sangha, and I highly respect that sangha, and highly respect that teacher and the other teachers in that, both lay teachers and formal teachers within that sangha. I also, and I'm deeply grateful to them. I also deeply am grateful and respectful of, my former teacher, Paul Roberts, and the people involved with that sangha, with the True Shin Buddhism sangha. So, I'm very grateful to both the Trushin Buddhist Sangha and the Amida Ji Sanghas, and have a debt of gratitude to them, and have great respect for both of them and all the people involved with them. So I just wanted to kind of say that. So, you'll have heard in the past few years in different videos and different episodes and different discussions and different reflections and things where I have perhaps um, implied things or made criticisms of, or um, uh, whether, uh, or implied that maybe things weren't the authentic teaching, or weren't, or weren't done in a way that was helpful, what have you. I've made various comments, criticisms, implications, and I want to say that given where I'm at now with all of this, um, um, I I realized that it's because something didn't necessarily work for me doesn't mean anything beyond that at the time. For a time, that for a time it worked, because that's how it works with the fivefold teaching. That's how it works with karmic relations, karmic causes and conditions, ripening, and changing, and conditions changing and things. You get to a point where, okay, I need something else now on my path. The things are, it's indicated you need to go another way, another direction, and that's what I've done. But it's all the more the past few years I've come to more and more appreciate the past sanghas I've been a part of, and become more and more grateful to them for all they've given me. So, and I've realized that the vast majority of things that I have maybe criticized or implied or said indirectly about these past sanghas have been, were incorrect in the broader understanding that I have now of the Jodo Shinshu path, of the Pure Land path, of the Pure Land way. Um, my perceptions were incorrect. So, wow, what a surprise! A bamboo's perceptions were incorrect. Oh, surely not. Anyway, and don't call me Shirley. Anyway, so in the broader perspective now, unlimited. When I think of it, when I put no limits on things, my perceptions were wrong in those areas. And things aren't, karmic relationships aren't always going to go well, even within a dharmic relationship, even within a dharmic, context, even within a sangha context. They're not going to always go well. Things are going to go wrong. Things are not going to be what you need. Things, because we're all bamboo, we're all human, we're all limited, we're all, do you know what I mean? So of course things are going to go wrong. So those things are true. Those things that anybody's experienced that kind of went wrong with whatever school of Buddha, movement you're part of, with whatever Jodo Shinshu Sangha you've been a part of, or Shin Buddhist Sangha you've been a part of, things are going to go wrong sometimes. They're not going to go quite right, or they're not going to be what you need, because we're human, we're bamboo, we're ignorant beings, we're foolish, ignorant beings. So, of course, that's going to be the case. So, anyway, just want to say that as well as parts of this video. I know I previously I published the video and uploaded it with the first two parts, but now I wanted to have this third part, and I took that the original bit that I just I uploaded last night. I decided to delete that and make this last bit of the episode and video. Sorry about the animal realm interrupting my my discussion here. So anyway, Beanie Bean. All right. He's barking at his sister. His sister is taunting him. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to say that, add this to that, and say, again, thank you very much for listening. And much metta of Amida to whatever Pure Land sect you're part of, whatever Jodo Shinshu sect you're part of, whatever Shin Buddhist Sangha you're a part of. I consider myself part of your Sangha. I consider myself part of the big tent Maha Shin Sangha. And that's how I'm approaching it going forward. So thank you very much. Namo Mita Butsu, Namo Mita Butsu, Namo Mita Butsu, Namanda Namanda Namanda. All right, take care.